I've always been a lover of language, words, reading, instilled by my dad, who which just sort of, I think, had a curiosity around language. So was always a bookworm, was that kid that would walk and read and bump into things when I was younger. And certainly, I think my probably the first poet and first poems that I encountered were Jose Marti. So the classic, like abuela having me recite Los Zapaticos Rosados, just like having this like cultural relationship, and then of course, discovering Shel Silverstein and falling in love with that sort of absurdity of playfulness with sound and language. But I'm not a poet by trade, and I always tell people, you find your way, and you don't have to have this accreditation and this like sort of traditional model. So I was in my high school's poetry club. I was an art kid. I went to art school, but never anticipated having a profession as a in the field of contemporary poetry. So my entry point to specifically to Oh Miami was in 2011, encountered P. Scott Cunningham, the co-founder and executive director of University of Wynwood, which produced the Oh Miami Poetry Festival. So I was really enamored with sort of the ex social experiment of poets in the streets of Wynwood writing poems on command. I received a poem, I think in 2010 at Locust Projects. So just like during like the art walk days of Miami, this sort of like magical time of people out in the streets. Um, but I joined O Miami, which was then University of Wynwood in 2013 as the first employee. It was a project that then turned into one of the country's most innovative poetry organizations. We have a incredible broad community, but the team at Miami is really small. So it went from me being the first full-time employee to now we have seven full-time team members. Um, so I've had almost every position you can imagine, every title in the organization from like operations manager to director of development and communications. And last year, when Scott decided to step down, um, there wasn't a formal succession plan. So there was an open application for the role. And really having a profound understanding of what this org can do and who we are and who we serve, and the model moving forward, me alongside O Miami's director of education at the time, Caroline Cabrera, interpreted that job description as this is a co-director. This is a co-director position. This is a collaborative organization. It takes a spirit of team and ingenuity and zero ego to really have this model reflect internally what we're doing in the public, which is just inviting everyone to take ownership, inviting this like deeply collaborative model across all the ways that we work. So July of 2024, Caroline and I were voted in unanimously by the board of directors to be the next co-director. So I am executive director and she's the artistic director. And Caroline traditionally is a poet. She has published many books. She has been a teaching artist and a really significant voice in contemporary poetry in South Florida and beyond. So it's a really good balance of my profound understanding, sort of the operations, the strategic sort of mapping of this work, and her relationship to literature and sort of poetry matchmaking, as we call it.